Continuing from the previous episode 440. Have they not come yet? On a branch, 3 figures stood slowly on it. Among the 3, the head is a woman. The woman is dressed in plain clothes, obviously to make the movement quite convenient, but the close-fitting plain clothes highlight her exquisite and quality figure, which attracts the eyes of the 2 men around. Some hot leader, the coyote came with news that he brought people here. Besides the alchemist, 2 other people have also arrived, but I don't know if the 2 of them will have any influence on our trip. Said another man with some scars. Those 2 have some connections with me. Since they also have to go to the desert of death, I'll take them along for the ride. I'll be responsible for any problems, said the head of the women's team. Captain, why are only a few of us entering this time? If there are 4 of us, the success rate doesn't seem to be high. The scarred man said, it's easier to expose the target if you bring more people. The woman said softly, that's the only way to go. After the scarred man said, his eyes calmed down. Then just wait a while, said the female team leader. After speaking, the eyes of the 3 of them turned. The Bloodblade mercenary group is a very good mercenary group in Xuanling City, because the overall strength of this mercenary group is extremely good. The head of the group is named Tang Tang, and the members of the Bloodblade mercenary group are called Sister Tang, but this person's strength has reached the level of an 8-star fighting emperor. You must know that an ordinary 7-star Dou emperor can enter the sect as an elder, and the strength of an 8-star Dou emperor is extremely terrifying. Besides, apart from the head of the Bloodblade mercenary group, the strength of the other main members should not be underestimated. The scarred man Wu Yu, the strength in the middle stage of the 7-star Doudi, the coyote and the lone wolf, 2 powerful men who have completed the 6-star Doudi. These 4 people alone are comparable to an elite team. In the distance, Xiao Yan and his party, under the leadership of the coyote, kept rushing towards the female leader, but in the desert of death that was far away from them, an extremely terrifying black storm was slowly taking shape. Sister Tang, everyone's here. The lean figure of the coyote came to the place where the 3 of them were, after a while. Hello, my name is Tang Tang. I'm the head of the Bloodblade mercenary group. I'm honored to invite an emperor-level pharmacist like you to accompany you. Tang Tang generously stretched out his palm, facing the hidden Xiao Yan said under the black robe. Hello, I'm Xian Xiao. Xiao Yan naturally wouldn't reveal his real name, otherwise, Xuanchen, the 3rd prince of the Xuanling royal family, would be in trouble if he easily recognized himself. I hope we can cooperate happily. Tang Tang was obviously surprised because he knew that the alchemist in front of him was Xiao Yan in the Fenxiang pavilion, but when Xiao Yan deliberately said that he was Yan Xiao, he was slightly surprised. A powerhouse at the 8-star Doudi level. Little Yi smacked her lips. The 8-star Dou emperor is not just like a big cabbage, just ask which 8-star Dou emperor is not enshrined by their respective strengths like their ancestors. I don't know who these 2 are. After saying hello to Yanxiao, Tang Tang said to a man and a woman beside Yanxiao. Naturally it's my entourage, Yanxiao said with a slightly raised corner of his mouth hidden under the black robe. Apothecary is really a wonderful profession. Tang Tang was not surprised when he heard the words. After all, the alchemist was known as a hornet's nest. Although this Yan Xiao was only the perfect strength of a 4-star Doudi, he could rely on himself to refine it. The appeal of the pharmacist has called for a 5-star Dou emperor perfection level powerhouse and a 5-star Dou emperor mid-stage powerhouse to see how extraordinary this person is. When Tang Tang's eyes swept across Xiao Yi, Mei Mu couldn't help but stay for a few more minutes. Xiao Yi has gorgeous and colorful hair with as many as 23 colors. The rare beauty on his face attracted the envy of the other 3 members of the Bloodblade mercenary group. With slender and asterisk eyelashes, a slightly sharp chin, and those well-proportioned figures, if they hadn't known that Xiao Yi was a man, ordinary people would definitely have thought that this was a woman. It's so handsome. Looking at Mu Yingying in the blink of an eye, what was different from Xiao Yi was that Mu Yingying was wearing a skirt, which highlighted the graceful curves, and an elegant aura that was like a lotus flower oozing out of mud and unstained came out of her body. What a beautiful woman. The members of the Bloodblade mercenary group looked at Yan Xiao and the 3 of them for a while, and their eyes returned to calm. This Bloodblade mercenary group is considered to be on the verge of death all year round, so they know a lot about handsome men and women, but it's just that because it was the first time I saw Xiao Yi and Mu Yingying, I couldn't help but glance at them. Are you here? The next moment, Tang Tang said to the young and the old. The two of them are Deshan Dashui, Deshan, that is, Xuanshan, the third prince of the Xuanling royal family, and Dashui, it is that old Zhou, who possesses the perfect strength of the 8-star Dou Emperor. This time, I hope that the head of the regiment will asterisk us. After the old man Dashui finished speaking, a heavy bag of gold coins appeared out of thin air in his palm. Just by perception, you know that this bag of gold coins is definitely worth a lot. Since everyone has arrived, let's go. This is already the edge of the desert of death. If you go forward, it will be the desert of death. The purpose of our trip is the desert area at the core of the lonely desert of death. After Tang Tang finished speaking, a completely different terrifying atmosphere permeated instantly, and then took the lead in walking ahead. When everyone saw this, they hurriedly followed. It's just that with the actions of these people, the scarred man followed directly behind the team, in other words, followed behind Xiao Yan. Although there are only 4 of them, they are really well trained. As expected of the Bloodblade mercenary group, Xiao Yan muttered in his link to heart www.novelmtl.com. With the departure of several people, the surrounding of the towering tree also returned to calm, and then the figures of several people disappeared after a while, leaving the forest, came to the edge of the desert. On the edge of the desert, the terrifying temperature is accompanied by the yellow sand, and the space in the desert seems to be distorted. Everyone stayed on the edge of the desert without taking a step forward. Sister Tang, what's wrong? Seeing this, the coyote and the lone wolf hurriedly spoke. The black storm is coming. It seems that we only have to avoid the limelight for a while. Tang Tang was in the first place, and Mei Mu was staring at a black thing in the desert. The black thing moved violently, like a fast-running giant, but around the black giant, it brought monstrous yellow sand and a twisted destructive force. I didn't expect it to be a black storm. We actually encountered this once in a century black storm, the coyote said. Let's go, this black storm, even the 8-star Doudi powerhouse can only temporarily avoid the limelight. We still wait for the limelight to pass and act. Tang Tang said, finished speaking, and returned to the original road. Xinya 81 Zhang Weian Wang U, Kai 8, approximately 1 ZS, Koem. When everyone saw this, they nodded one by one, because they all felt an extremely trembling power from the black storm. They and the black storm are separated by dozens of kilometers, and they can feel such a strong sense of oppression. If they are close at hand, I'm afraid it will be another scene. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 441. The group of 9 left the edge of the desert and came to the place where Xiao Yan and the others met. I feel wrong these days for everyone to rest here first, waiting for the black storm to pass, and we will set off immediately. Tang Tang said slightly. Tang Tang's grievances were naturally addressed to Yan Xiao, because many alchemists are quite delicate and inevitably have some other emotions. Sister Tang, I wonder how long this black storm will last. Yan Xiao frowned slightly and said, Xiao Yan is now of 4-star Doudi consummation, and he still has that Doudi pill in his hand. The Doudi pill is only useful for a 5-star Doudi, but for the current Xiao Yan, it is no better. It's hard to say. After all, the black storm is an extremely terrifying thing in the desert of death. We can say this kind of thing for less than a month, but it can be as long as 3 months, said the man with a scar. 1 month is enough. Xiao Yan thought carefully. After a few people finished speaking, the wooden house hidden in the dark was pushed away by the coyotes one by one. The crowd came one after another and walked into the wooden house one after another. This is a resting place for the Bloodblade mercenary group. The wooden house has all the necessities of life, and it looks like it is cleaned frequently, and there is no dust at all. Everyone, let's live here first, go down and have a good rest. Tang Tang entered the wooden house and said after dividing their rooms. You guys go back first, I have something else to do. Xiao Yan said to Xiao Yi and Mu Yingying beside him. Yes. After the two responded, they went back to their own rooms. I don't know what else is going on with little brother Xiao Yan. A smile flashed on Tang Tang's face, and he opened his mouth when he watched the two of them go down. Sister Tang, you have also discovered that I am only a 4-star Doudi with the perfect strength, and I happen to have a Doudi pill in my hand, so I want to take it for this time and hit the 5-star Doudi. If it is successful, we will have a better chance of winning this trip. Xiao Yan said slowly. Dou Di Dan? Tang Tang heard the words, the coyote, the lone wolf and the scarred man could not help but feel a little envious. This Dou Di pill is quite expensive, even they have never used it. How long will it take? Tang Tang's eyes sank. That thing in the desert of death, you can't wait too long, otherwise it will be the first to get on, it will not be worth the loss. 1 month at most, Xiao Yan insisted. A month. It's okay, we will protect the law for you during these hours, and collect some information about this purpose by the way. When you leave the customs, the black storm is almost over, and it's time to set off. Tang Tang said, then I will thank Sister Tang. Xiao Yan clasped his fists. By the way, you seem to be somewhat hostile to the mountains and rivers? Tang Tang said, since they are all the way now, Tang Tang will never let these people rub against them secretly, otherwise they will finally enter the desert of death, and the unlucky will only be themselves. There is no friction, but I am afraid of being recognized by the members of their Xuanling royal family. Xiao Yan smiled. That's good. After Tang Tang finished speaking, he nodded. Goodbye everyone. After Xiao Yan finished speaking, he strode straight towards his room. With the disappearance of Xiao Yan, there are only Tang Tang, Coyote Lone Wolf and Scarman. Wu Yu, keep an eye on Xiao Yan at all times. Taking Dou Di pill is not an easy task. Once there is a change, immediately stop it. Otherwise, without the soul power of this alchemist, we would never be able to break through the barrier in the desert area. And I have a hunch that there is definitely something we need in there. Tang Tang said, yes, Captain. However, how should Xiao Yan deal with this at that time? After all, he is a member of Fenxiang Pavilion, and it is not good to kill him directly, said Wu Yu, a man with a scar. If you crack that thing, knock it out and pull it back. The followers of the 2 5-star fighting emperors still don't pose much of a threat. Tang Tang said slowly, yes. After Wu Yu finished speaking, he walked towards the wooden house next to Xiao Yan. Okay, the two of you also go down, I will notify you if there is something. Tang Tang said to the coyote and the lone wolf. Yes. The two responded and left. I really don't know if the information is true. Tang Tanbei murmured softly and returned to his room after speaking. Master, that alchemist seems to be a little familiar. I always think I've seen it before. Inside the wooden house, Xuanchen said to the old man. I feel the same way too, but I really can't remember who it is. But forget it. After we follow them into the desert of death, we will start your experience, so you don't need to think about it. The old man said, yep, but master, what are these people doing? A strong 8-star Dou Emperor leads the team, a 7-star Dou Emperor, 2 6-star Dou Emperors, plus the Emperor-level pharmacist who doesn't know the specific level and the 2 5-star Dou Emperor guards around him. Such a lineup, but it should not be underestimated. Xuanchen said slowly, it seems that you are not a reckless man anymore, but as far as I know, they seem to be hunting a strong man from the Medusa family. The old man said, these people are really bold. Xuanchen was secretly surprised when he heard the words, and even the strong men in the Medusa family dared to move. Okay, let's take a good rest first. This black storm is not so easy to end. After the old man finished speaking, he closed his eyes and rested. Seeing this, Xuanchen nodded secretly and calmed down. I don't know why, but I always feel that there is something in the desert of death. In the house where Mu Yingying was, at this moment, a rather delicate blue flame was slowly beating in front of Mu Yingying's chest. Although the flame is small, it is extremely bright, and the power contained in it is probably enough to destroy the sky and destroy the earth. The flame is different from Xiao Yan's strange fire. It not only has huge destructive energy and high temperature, but also seems to have some other mysterious effects. It's really strange. How come the closer I get to this lonely desert of death, the more violent my heart beats? Xiao Yi said suspiciously. As a fire elf, Xiao Yi is most sensitive to the power of flames. I am afraid that the power of flames can make Xiao Yi produce such changes. I don't know why Xuanchen came this time. Forget it. Let's take the Dou Di pill link to first www.novelmtl.com. After Xiao Yan's brief thoughts were fruitless, he decisively gave up thinking. Huge soul power instantly emerged, and then a circle of heaven and earth was laid around the wooden house. After doing all this, Xiao Yan carefully took out the Dou Di pill from the ring in his hand. Across the jade bottle, you could vaguely see the Dou Di Dan's entire body in white, about the size of a longan, but the center was a strange red color. Squeak. He gently took off the cork, and at the same time, an extremely strong fragrance of elixir permeated the entire wooden house. He, as expected of a second-grade emperor rank medicinal pill. Xiao Yan said with a grin, but fortunately, Xiao Yan had arranged a soul barrier in advance, so this medicinal incense would not diffuse out. The bottle cork had just been opened, and the Doudi pill had just come into contact with the air, but it was eerily full of intelligence and quickly escaped from Xiao Yan's palm. Xinyan 81 Zhang Wian Wang U, Kai 8, approximately 1 ZS, Koem. The next moment, it turned into an extremely stunning figure and appeared in Xiao Yan's wooden house. Even if he knew that this was the effect of the second-grade imperial pill, Xiao Yan saw the figure in front of him, his pupils shrank slightly, his nose became sour, and he said in a flash, "Zuner." This voice contained a very strong longing. This call made the man in front of him a little surprised, and then the man turned his head, and a face that was enough to make everything pale appeared in front of Xiao Yan. Ask for tickets. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 442. Zuner, smart eyes flickered slightly, and then said to Xiao Yan, "Brother Xiao Yan, Zuner. I think it's so hard for you to think." Xiao Yan strode forward, then opened his arms, and no matter how she struggled, he directly hugged him in his arms. Zuner was frightened by Xiao Yan's sudden hug, but he seemed to be thinking about something in his eyes. With this hug, all the so-called thoughts from the past emerged. "Brother Xiao Yan, it hurts to squeeze Zuner like this." Zuner let out a coquettish cry, but Xiao Yan's strength increased instead of decreasing. It is rumored that the 9th-grade medicinal pill can be transformed into a human form, not to mention the more powerful emperor-ranked 2nd-grade fighting emperor pill. Xiao Yan hugged the person in his arms and laughed at himself. Humph! The next moment, the person in Xiao Yan's arms suddenly sensed something was wrong, and then instantly turned into a white smoke, and then the figure disappeared out of thin air, revealing the true face of the original Doudi pill. "You already have a lot of wisdom, so if I let you run away, wouldn't it be a disaster?" Xiao Yan said with a smile. "Harm people? You alchemists refined us just to enshrine others or use them yourself. Have you ever considered our own feelings? We were created by you, but we are the elixir of wisdom, not something that anyone can use. And you know otherwise, after our medicinal pills surpassed the first rank of the emperor, every medicinal pill is a little bit of a chance to cultivate, and all the opportunities will be lost after you take it directly." Doudi the pill the size of Danlangen said slowly, and voices came from all directions. "In the final analysis, since you were made by our alchemist, can you still reverse it?" After Xiao Yan finished speaking, his voice suddenly increased by a few decibels, and then the terrifying soul power in his body suddenly emerged, facing the Doudi pill that was suspended in midair went away. "Just because you want to subdue me? Idiot, talking about a dream." Dou Di Dan snorted coldly, and then turned into Zuner. Zuner's figure appeared in his eyes, Xiao Yan's deep-colored pupils shrank tightly, and the soul power of the Emperor's mortal level peak emerged instantly. The soul power just emerged, and it turned into a white light group, facing the Zuner. Shabu! Soul power surrounded Zuner in an instant, and then the invisible soul coercion instantly suppressed that Zuner. "It's time to work." Xiao Yan finished speaking. The black robe on his body did not mean to take off at all, but at this time, another Xiao Yan appeared in the wooden house. One white and one black. Xiao Yan in white clothes was condensed by the soul power of the peak of the Emperor's mortal level. Although Xiao Yan summoned very few times, this avatar is as prosperous as Xiao Yan. If this avatar has 3 strengths and 2 weaknesses, then it will definitely be the feedback was sent to Xiao Yan, so Xiao Yan often did not summon the Emperor Realm Soul Avatar. As for Xiao Yan in black robe, it is Xiao Yan's body. "Haha, you haven't summoned me for a long time." Bai Xiaoyan sat down gently and said, "There's no way, you always have to hide some strength, otherwise you might be overwhelmed by unexpected situations," said Xiao Yan in black robe. Although this Emperor Dou pill is extremely reckless, after all, it's only a 2nd-rank Emperor rank pill. "It's not difficult for you. I wonder why you summoned me this time?" Bai Xiaoyan said, "Ming people don't speak secretly. If you practice fighting skills, can you give me feedback?" Xiao Yan asked tentatively, "Do you practice fighting skills? I haven't tried this, but you and I are one. I think it should be possible." Bai Xiaoyan said, "To be honest, I have only cultivated to the first level of the 7th level heaven-shattering ruler, but the first level is already very difficult to deal with powerhouses of the same level. According to my guess, I am afraid that at least the 3rd level or even the 1st level is required. Only at the 4th level can you become a killer. Xiao Yan in black robe said solemnly. I understand. Don't worry, you and I are all one, and if I cultivate, it will be fed back into your body. So then, you can safely absorb the Dou Di pill. As for the 7th layer breaking sky ruler, it is not difficult to cultivate to the 3rd or 4th with me. Bai Xiao Yan said with a smile. That's the best. Xiao Yan in black robe also laughed loudly. The space here is too small. I'd better go to practice in the soul realm. Bai Xiao Yan finished speaking and disappeared instantly. It's just that with the disappearance of white Xiao Yan, the ancient ruler behind Xiao Yan also disappeared, and instead appeared in Xiao Yan's soul realm. In the soul realm, in the boundless vast area, at this time, the white Xiao Yan slowly stood on it, and then the ancient ruler of different fires appeared in his hand, and he was slowly comprehending and practicing the 7th level breaking sky ruler. Since that's the case, I can't fall behind. Xiao Yan in the black robe closed his eyes and patiently adjusted the aura in his body. When the aura stabilized, it was the best time to take the Dou Di pill. At the same time, on the edge of the desert, the figure of Zhu Lao appeared here. It's actually a black storm. I don't know how this black storm happened. Isn't this thing only appearing in some special circumstances? Remember when the last black storm occurred, the 9 major tribes of the dead and lonely snake people and the Xuanling royal family suffered heavy losses. I don't know what the black storm means. This link to time www.novelmtl.com. Old Zhu narrowed his eyes, staring at the giant black storm that was squirming violently. Forget it, let's take a detour. Elder Zhu felt that this black storm was no joke, so he could only give up the idea of crossing. After Zhu Lao finished speaking, the figure slowly fell, and the next moment, a longan-sized medicinal pill appeared in his hand, and he swallowed it instantly. After swallowing, a khaki-colored fighting spirit appeared around Zhu Lao's body. With the appearance of this earthy yellow grudge, Old Zhu's body slowly dived into the yellow sand, and finally completely submerged Old Zhu. Bamboo Lao just disappeared, and a very strange figure appeared on his hind feet. Did it disappear? Said a small figure headed by him. Sect Master, Zhu Jin seems to be lurking into the yellow sand. Song Lidao, who was behind the short figure. No, I have never heard of any ability to lurk in the yellow sand, and this black storm is not a joke. Another Yang Wei said with some concern. We must deal with this bamboo ember as soon as possible, otherwise it will affect our future plans, said Lu Quan, who was short in stature. Go, bear this black storm, Lu Quan said after thinking. As soon as he finished speaking, a strange and gloomy aura emerged from his body, slowly surrounding the dark cloak. That breath, like a ghost, exudes a sinister and evil aura from the dying person. Go! Song Li and Yang Wei responded. As soon as these words came out, different degrees of ghost energy emerged on the cloaks of the 3 people, and then the speed was increased to the extreme, and they went away in the desert of death. Set a small goal first, such as 1 second to remember. Shukju mobile version reading website. Continuing from the previous episode 443. Time passed day by day, and 3 days passed in a blink of an eye. With the strength of 3 days, Tang Tang came to Xiao Yan's residence once and found that the wooden house was shrouded by Xiao Yan's soul power. He didn't say much, but told Wu Yu to be careful and leave here, obviously to get information. As for the coyote and the lone wolf, they also kept their balances and did not do anything strange. As for the old man Zhou and Xuanshan, they drank tea and drank every day in peace with each other. Xiao Yi's words, because of the spiritual connection with Xiao Yan, it is easy to sense Xiao Yan's state at this time. Mu Yingying was very quiet, because she also knew that this trip to the desert area in the desert of death would definitely not be smooth sailing, and there might even be some crises, but she didn't know why. When Mu Yingying thought of Xiao Yan Tongxing, it seems that the hanging heart has also become stable. In the wooden house where Xiao Yan was, Xiao Yan sat cross-legged. Sitting in this state would last for 3 days. Xiao Yan, who was wearing a black robe, slowly exhaled, and then his dark pupils opened slightly. At this time, Xiao Yan's breath has soared to the extreme. Swallowing Dou Di pill is no joke. Although this kind of Emperor rank second-grade pill is extremely mild, Xiao Yan will not take this risk if he is not fully prepared. Come here. Xiao Yan waved his palm lightly, and suddenly the Dou Di Dan, which had been lurking in midair, slowly floated towards Xiao Yan. Emperor Dou was the size of a perfect dragon's eye, white on the outside and red on the inside. At this time, he was being bound by Xiao Yan's huge soul power. Su. Dou Di Dan seemed to realize Xiao Yan's intention, and his whole body shook violently, trying to break free from the shackles of Xiao Yan's soul power. However, Xiao Yan's soul power is at the peak of the Emperor's mortal level, so how could he be so easily freed by the Dou Di Dan? Disappear. Xiao Yan's eyes closed, and the next moment they suddenly opened, and at the same time, a vastly different power suddenly emerged. That is a cluster of fire-fighting chi containing 23 colors. The flame-fighting energy just appeared, the surrounding space where Xiao Yan was shaking violently, and even some spaces were slightly distorted. I don't know why. What is the difference between the new flame that combines the 23 colors of different fires compared to the holy flame? I always feel that the holy flame seems to have some connection with the different fire, but I don't know what it is. Xiao Yan murmured, "Forget it. Let's take the Doudi pill first." Shaking his head, Xiao Yan was thinking about the question in his mind, and then turned his attention to Doudi pill. Humph, humans, it's really abominable. A very dissatisfied voice came from the Dou Di Dan. He, Doudi pill, you are just a little thought that our alchemist refined and baptized with thunder. After Xiao Yan finished speaking, the terrifying flames around him went towards the Doudi pill. Your flame, how is that possible? I'm a second-grade imperial pill. How could I be slowly melted by your hungry flames? What the asterisk is this flame of yours? The violent screams kept coming from the Doudi pill. 1 hour. 2 hours. 5 hours. Finally, the voice gradually disappeared in the Doudi pill, and then Xiao Yan saw a trace of white smoke drifting out of the Doudi pill. Is the mind gone? Xiao Yan murmured. As we all know, as long as the medicinal pill reaches the 9th grade level, it can give birth to spiritual wisdom. As for the imperial medicinal pill, it already has the same spiritual wisdom as human beings, and even worse, it can break away from the shackles of medicinal pills and transform into humanoids, cultivate like humans. As for this Emperor rank second rank Dou Di Dan, its intelligence is even more terrifying than the previous ones. It's just that the spiritual thought contained in this Doudi pill did not expect that Xiao Yan possessed such a terrifying power of flame. That terrifying flame is a terrifying flame that combines 23 kinds of different fires. Not to mention a trace of spirituality, even the soul can burn into ashes. Come. As the spiritual wisdom in the Doudi pill was refined and destroyed by Xiao Yan, the Doudi pill also lay gently in the package of Xiao Yan's soul power. The mellow Doudi pill appeared in Xiao Yan's hands. It's really terrifying energy. The Doudi pill had just started. The difference from before was that the Doudi pill was lying in Xiao Yan's palm calmly at this time, but a gentle feeling kept nourishing Xiao Yan. Xinya 81 Zhang Wian Wang U. Kai 8.1 ZS, Koem, the fire is coming. Xiao Yan nodded with satisfaction, and then the terrifying fighting chi that contained the power of 23 kinds of flames emerged around him. Flame Dou Chi just emerged, and under Xiao Yan's control, he swept away from the dragon's eye-sized Doudi pill in front of him. The flame enveloped the Doudi pill, and the next moment, under Xiao Yan's subtle control, the Doudi pill slowly lurked to the corner of his mouth. Gulu. He opened his mouth slightly, and then directly took the Doudi pill down. Boom boom boom. Just as the Doudi pill entered the body, an extremely dazzling power emanated from the Doudi pill. The power is extremely huge and gentle, so Xiao Yan doesn't have to worry about how it will affect his body. The only thing he needs to worry about is how to absorb this power perfectly, so as to break through the 5-star Dou Emperor. Shabu. At this time Xiao Yan was sitting cross-legged and his eyes were closed, but at this time Xiao Yan, the Doudi pill in his throat emitted a dazzling light, and then the dazzling light was continuously absorbed by Xiao Yan's body. The strange fire slowly dispersed, scattered among Xiao Yan's limbs and bones. In the soul realm, Bai Xiao Yan is slowly cultivating and comprehending the 7th layer of breaking the sky. Seeing this appearance, he immediately secretly said in his heart, If such terrifying energy is absorbed, it will not be difficult to break through the 5-star Doudi. No wonder it is the Dou Di Dan can be called the second-rank emperor rank. After Xiao Yan finished speaking, he clearly felt the sea of vindictive energy that was separated from the soul realm surge violently. Every strong person who is promoted to Doudi will have something called Douqi born in his body. Douqi linked to www.novelmtl.com as the name suggests, it is a place to store Douqi. The area of the Douqi largely determines the level of the practitioner's cultivation technique. And the main purpose of this Douqi is only one. Prepare to attack Dou Xian. As we all know, Douqi cultivation, from Douqi to Doudi, mainly focuses on expanding the Douqi whirlpool in the body and increasing the capacity of Douqi, but when it comes to Doudi, it does the opposite. A Doudi has already been born in the body of a Doudi strongman, and a Doudi strongman cultivates by compressing the Douqi and condensing it into a fist-sized Dou core. At that time, it was the breakthrough Doudi in the true sense and the promotion to Dou Xian. At this time, as Xiao Yan's body started to burn, the huge flame power continuously divided the Doudi pill's energy, and the Doudi pill's energy constantly nourished Xiao Yan's limbs and bones. The body has almost absorbed it. It's time to attack the Douqi. Xiao Yan's pupils suddenly opened, and then milky white light appeared all over his body. The milky white light was the Dou Di Dan scattered into Xiao Yan's body and limbs. It was already saturated at this time. In the absorption, I am afraid that the body will explode and die. The next moment, with Xiao Yan's shout, most of the remaining power of the Doudi pill trembled violently. Xiao Yan ignored the 3721, directly compressing and driving the remaining power towards his forehead. Ask for tickets. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 444. At this time, in Xiao Yan's body, there are already 3 places with different powers. One is the Nigung pill in the body. Deep inside the Nigung pill, the inscription of the core of life slowly floats on it, slowly emitting an invisible wave. It is the power of the mind. Xiao Yan's spiritual power attainments are still in the entry-level stage. Old Zhu has not taught him the way to cultivate spiritual power. However, Xiao Yan believes that after this experience is completed, when Xiao Yan returns to the sect, he will start to cultivate spiritual power. Strength. Mental strength is the foundation of a battle formation master. Just ask a powerful fighting formation master, without exception, he is a person with strong spiritual power. When he thought of blocking thousands of troops with the power of one person, Xiao Yan's mind was filled with enthusiasm. The being is the soul realm in the body. The soul realm contains a huge amount of soul power. The foundation of a pharmacist is soul power. Only when the power of the soul is huge to a certain level, can you continuously advance to the rank of alchemist by controlling the perception of the soul and the flame. The reason why Xiao Yan is still only an alchemist at the peak of the first rank of the emperor is that this soul power has been unable to break through for a long time. Now that Xiao Yan's soul power has reached the peak of the emperor's mortal rank, Xiao Yan believes that as long as his soul power breaks through the current bottleneck, then advancing to the second rank of the emperor must be a matter of course. The huge soul power exists in the soul realm, and the soul power forms a vast ocean. At this time, the white Xiao Yan is cultivating the 7th layer of the sky-shattering ruler on it. Finally, there is the Douqi separated from the soul realm. In the sea of fighting qi, huge and gorgeous flames dominate. Because Xiao Yan is cultivating the fire attribute fighting qigong method, burning Ju. Furthermore, in addition to the 23 kinds of different fires in Xiao Yan's body, flames can be seen everywhere in the Douqi at this time. It's just that in the Douqi, countless flames are everywhere, and there seems to be something in the center of the Douqi. Xinya 81 Zhang Wei and Wang Wu. Kai 8.1 ZS. Koem. I didn't expect this sea of fighting qi to be so huge. If this is to be compressed into a fist-sized fighting core, then I don't know how difficult it would be. Xiao Yan looked inwardly at his own fighting qi for the first time, and immediately said in secret surprise in his heart. The area of the Douqi is within Xiao Yan's body. I am afraid that, judging from the flames everywhere, this Douqi has a huge space of tens of thousands of meters. If you compress this 10,000 feet of space, I am afraid it will not be so easy. Let's take one step at a time. After the words were finished, Xiao Yan poured most of the remaining power of the Doudi pill into the sea of Dou Qi. The reason why Xiao Yan injected part of the power of this Doudi pill into his limbs before was to strengthen his body. After his body was fully absorbed, Xiao Yan did not hesitate to run the burning Ju directly, pouring most of the remaining pure power of the Doudi pill into the Dou Qi sea. Qi qi qi! The enormous power of Dou Di Dan had just entered the Dou Qi sea, and the scattered flames in the Dou Qi sea seemed to have discovered the enemy, and instantly rushed towards a certain point in the Dou Qi sea. Shabu! In an instant, the flames scattered around the Dou Qi sea formed a ferocious beast. The whole body of the beast is pitch black, it stands on all fours, its 9 tails sway slightly, and then its majestic and powerful limbs, coupled with the destructive aura that Ruowu radiates, is really terrifying, a bit like a unicorn. It's just that 23 colors appeared on the pupils and hair of the beast. At the same time, above the beast's forehead, a group of 23 color flames slowly beat. A monarch descended, and the aura of the Vulcan descended from the world instantly emerged from the flame beast. Woo! It seems that the power of Dou Di Dan sensed the horror of this flaming beast, and he couldn't help trembling slightly, giving off a feeling of fear. This flaming beast is so terrifying. Xiao Yan didn't even intend to take action, because Xiao Yan seemed to feel an air of pride from the beast, and Xiao Yan could feel it. The flaming beast seemed to be as real. Absolutely not fake. Otherwise, with Xiao Yan's current 4-star Dou Emperor consummate strength, he would definitely not feel a wave of death from this flaming beast when he added the soul power of the mortal level peak of the God realm. This flaming beast seems to be real. Even I can't match this fire control power. I just don't know why my fighting spirit is like this. Let's go back and ask Elder Zhu. Xiao Yan shook his head, and then looked at the sea of Dou Qi in his body, because Xiao Yan also wanted to know how this flaming beast absorbed this Doudi pill. Every promotion of Doudi is mainly to compress the Dou Qi sea in his body, but all the Dou Qi in Xiao Yan's Dou Qi sea at this time is gathered on this flaming beast, so Xiao Yan is looking forward to it. Ow! The flaming beast stood on the ground, saw the dazzling power beside the Doudi pill, raised his forehead suddenly, and roared at the Doudi pill hanging in the air. The flaming beast shouted, and the dark figure suddenly had several different colors. The 23 colors in the pupil became hot, and then the flame composed of 23 colors on the forehead, it suddenly burned, and the next moment was to wrap the entire body. Shabu! The flaming beast was covered in flames at this moment, and then he stomped hard with his hind feet, and the space around it suddenly squirmed violently, and in the next instant, the flaming beast disappeared out of thin air. The white light transformed by Doudi pill seemed to smell a dangerous smell from the flaming beast. Even if all consciousness was lost, out of instinct, the white light transformed by Doudi pill was in the place where the flaming beast had just disappeared. Moment, instant surge. He was escaping very fast, as if he was escaping from something dangerous. Bang bang bang. The white light transformed by Dou Di Dan had just left, and the sky where it was originally broke through violently squirming, and then the flame beast, the front palm suddenly lifted, a terrifying force that destroyed the sky and the earth mixed out. Boom boom boom. No matter how fast the white light transformed by Doudi pill was, he still did not escape the fierce blow of this flaming beast. The flame-fierce beast waved its palm out, and a handprint of flame energy nearly 100 meters away went towards the white light transformed by the Doudi pill. Seeing the white light, UU reading link to www.youcanshu.com suddenly flashed, and instantly evaded the handprint of the 100 Zhong flame energy. Boom boom boom. The handprint of flame energy flew into the air and fell directly below it. The next moment, a huge tunnel with a length of several hundred meters emerged. The flaming beast launched a terrifying attack, then stayed in the sky, stuck out its tongue and licked its own hair, then stared at the white light. The white light saw the hundreds of feet of big pit appear not far in front of him, and immediately gave up resistance, because it knew that this place was already the territory of this flaming beast, and no matter how hard he struggled, he couldn't escape, so he might as well give up resistance. The flame beast raised its head slightly, then the figure moved, the space was squirming, and when it appeared the next moment, it came directly to the side of the white light. Peefed! With a sound, The flame beast opened its huge mouth and swallowed the white light directly. The white light had just been swallowed, and the entire body of the flame beast turned white, but the dark body had some color, but it was not very obvious. Then the flame beast snored very humanely, and lay down in a clean place and fell asleep. Just as the white light entered the body of the flaming beast, Xiao Yan suddenly felt an extremely hot feeling appear in his body. This is the feeling of a 5-star fighting emperor, Xiao Yan said with a face full of surprise. Ask for tickets. End of this chapter.